Yeah, it seems to be working over here. I'll try not to do anything. Well, there's a little bit of a lag, but not on the not on the vocals. Yes, only through songs, and because this last house music song that I did, "The Girl After You," is the last one, the last Jack the Stripper song. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry, wait. I think I might be having a technical glitch here. It always kills the vibe. Maybe not. Wait, say something?
Hello.
Uh-oh. Can you hear yourself when you talk?
Yes.
Uh-oh. God dang it. I don't know what I did. No. I'm plagued by these fucking issues all the time. What could I have done?
Yeah, I still see you and you see me very well, and I can hear us both. And
So you can hear yourself with a lag?
no, I'm fine. There's no vocal lag. I'm just saying the picture.
Oh, okay.
I can tell there's just a tiny lag,
Okay.
but I'm not really looking at myself here.
Okay. I'm just hoping it's not ruined. Oh boy. I'm just gonna go with it. If you can hear me fine,
Yeah, I can hear you. So
and you're not hearing yourself, it's not distracting, then truth be told, I don't really care if it's like a perfect recording and it's not for the broadcast. It really is just so I can talk to you and catch up.
yeah,
And thanks for
we'll
staying
do
up
it
late.
again.
Yeah, of course.
We'll do it again.
Yeah, there's so many things I never asked you previously, and a lot of time has passed, and I'm curious. Just catching up. This is the first time we're catching up. We didn't even do a phone
it's
call
kinda
before
bizarre.
this.
I feel silly just talking about the music stuff, but that's what you were gonna want to get out of me. So
It's about everything. I mean, like I have no script. I have no bullet points. I'm just asking questions. I know some boundaries, maybe things I shouldn't ask about, but yeah. So okay, you made those tracks. I was so confused. Like, oh, are you ghostwriting or what is this?
I do ghost produce for someone.
Okay, you do.
I do
How many people?
just one.
Okay, just one.
I can't stomach making that music at all, so I
Okay.
couldn't do it. So
Oh,
it's more like I helped them out over the past 4 or 5 years.
okay.
So
Interesting.
yeah,
I'm tempted to ask who, but of course not. I won't.
that would probably wouldn't make them feel so good. Somebody knew that.
How do you? Let me ask you this. I mean, you've been doing this a while, and you've had some awesome opportunities. You've met some great people.
Sure.
I'm still stuck in this island town. You've been all over.
Yeah.
I'm not about to ask the question you to think just about the ghost producing. What do you think about ghost producing with all of your history, with all of your experience? Like, are you happy to do it just for the money? Like, beyond that, I'm not asking you why you're doing it. What do you think about it? Like, how this is even a thing still today?
I mean, it is what it is, man. I mean, I know, I have friends that have ghost produced for the big guys,
Yeah.
And, I guess when I initially learned of this, I was kind of like, what do you mean they're just paying for somebody else to do their work? But, I see it more like I'm just helping him out, help this guy out. He was way behind in the game. He was never going to be able to do it on his own, and it's so easy for me to do, and I need some money sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
pays the phone bill or something,
Mm-hmm.
I don't ask for the amount of money that, was probably worth, because the guy doesn't have that kind of money. So I just give him, the very basics.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do like a Jack the Stripper track for him
Mm-hmm.
because, that's me. And I'm like, there's no way on earth that you could do this. So, you know, you couldn't even think about this, think of this idea, much less, work it. So I keep those for myself.
Are you interested in writing pop for other people, like actually just going kind of down the career path of being a pop producer or writer?
Well, I have I've wrote a few songs, uh, but that's a real that's a real talent for those those people, and I've learned as I've worked with other producers that I'm like, man, they're really good at writing pop songs. I'm a good producer. You give me the parts, and then I'll make it. You know, I know everything. Of course, I'm great at with melody and finding the unique samples and everything. I'm good with putting it all together, and I pride myself on that now. But sitting down and just writing a song, that takes a lot of work.
Mm-hmm.
I've wrote some songs with Larry's wife Malia, that are about to come out, but these are more like cinematic pop, I guess is what we call it. Stuff that you would hear in a movie or hopefully or a television show or something.
So, okay, jumping around a bit, what's that project called then? With
What's
you
that?
and Larry making cinematic music, does that have its own title and like its
Well,
own?
that's Think Up Anger.
Oh, that okay. So it is
Yeah,
also Think Up Anger. So it's okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Think Up Anger is what we do that, and of course we've released tons of music, but we really never post that music, which is a drag because I've wrote some pretty good covers of songs, but unless they're being used in a film or something, we don't put them out there because we don't want anybody to steal the idea.
Right.
So one of these great things, excuse me, one of these things that I'm really, really, you know, great at. A lot of people never even hear my music, and that's a bummer. So, but I have had music, and stuff for like the Planet of the Apes and Transformers and the Godzilla movie a couple of years back. So
Really?
yeah,
I didn't know. See, I don't know anything that you're doing, man. And you're so tight-lipped. I look at your Instagram; it's always just like a close-up of a beer.
yeah. My whole Instagram is like a beer thing. Yeah, I just man, I was on a good 4 day bender before I finally stopped today at 6 because I was like, I got to deliver for this guy, so I need to take a nap and be ready. Nice Bud Light.
I got a Bud Light. What are you drinking these days?
I'm Miller Lite. So,
What What is it? Why do we drink so much, John?
yeah, I don't know. It would be nice to chill out.
Yeah.
I took a 2 month break once the shutdown happened last year, and I got really back into decent shape, and I felt better. You know, lost about 8 pounds. So not that I'm obese or anything, but when the pandemic started easing up, I went back to the bars and
We
seemed to live there.
we have been locked down since last March or whatever. Like we're in total lockdown.
Still,
Yeah, I mean, I guess the restaurants are open. You can go to a restaurant with one member of your household or something, and that restaurants have to be open to 50% capacity. I don't even follow the freaking
yeah,
numbers anymore. I don't care. I'm so done with this thing.
yeah. It's we have serious pandemic exhaustion. Everyone does, and it was such an odd time. But Texas opened back up last month or so, and so
Yeah, well,
I made it through without ever having to deal with COVID. So
I think I had COVID last end of March. I was in
mhm.
Miami, which you probably remember. I was I was hoping you were there, so I was like, "Man, are you in Miami?" And then you're like, "Nope, you were gone somewhere. Here's another guy. Call him. He'll show you a good time."
Was it Alex
Alex, I think. Yeah.
Oru?
Yes.
Yeah,
And yeah, I met up with him, and he was DJing that night. So I went to the club that he was DJing at, and I played some records, and I think
he
he
let
got
you
some.
play. Nice.
Yeah, I think he got some video of it. and that was a super fun time. Another benefit to having music producer friends that you've met online that are in various parts of the world.
Yeah,
Get to be like, hey, I'm in your city, man.
yeah,
Let's hang out. Oh, I'm not there, but call my friend. Yeah,
yeah.
the love.
We're really close.
He
Alex
was,
and I have been really close for a long time.
yeah, he was a good dude. He seemed like a
Yeah,
very good dude. I just felt again like he was already a friend. Like, I
yeah,
don't know how to describe that, but I've had this experience many times now, meeting up with either, people I've met online, like yourself, or, friends of them. It's just like you just click right away. So
yeah.
I don't know.
Old souls, just
Yeah,
kind of old souls. Yeah.
I thoroughly
Uh,
enjoyed that.
I actually haven't seen Alex in 10 years.
What?
Yeah, it seems crazy, but yeah, we were so close when I lived there, and it just seemed like because I lived in Florida, Hollywood Beach, Florida, for about a year from 2010 to 2011, and I was seeing someone, and it fell apart. So I never made it back
Hmm.
to Miami, or Florida, which seems so crazy to me because, well, I just flipped the country. I started going out to LA all the time,
Right.
because that's where the work was, and that's where my life was. And I was like, you know what? I'll get to Miami and we'll get together, and I'd have some great success with the cinema project, and I'd have some great cash and stuff, and I'd be like, you know what? I'm going to go to Miami, and then I'd be like, well, I'll go next month,
Right.
and then all of a sudden it's 10 years later, and I'm like, wow. So
Yeah. Just slips away that
yeah,
time. Do you have plans to go back or?
I don't know. I really don't. I again after when I turned 50, I really started thinking about my own mortality a lot because it was like, man, I didn't even start living my life until I was 34 years old. You know, when I finally quit. Working a real job, and I still haven't worked a real job since. But I've had some great years, and I've had some not so great years. And I keep doing it because that instant cash hit. It's so tempting to always just be like, I know I can wake up someday and write something and get 25 grand. So I keep trying to do that. But it has been hard the last year and a half with everything slowing down, and I've had to rely on family and friends a lot, to get through. But I just keep on writing. Well, somebody likes it. I'm sure somebody likes it. And actually, well, the shutdown was really good for me because it was really last year around this same time, I guess, April, May, that I finally decided that it was time for me to really learn how to do the mixing and mastering on my own,
Oh yeah.
because I just simply was the idea person forever.
Yeah, I
And
remember
just,
that.
yeah,
I used to I used to try to have conversations about like kind of the engineering side, and you'd always be like, Larry
that's
does
Larry's
all
job.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. But what the sad thing about it is that we were all locked down, so I was like, well, it's time for me to learn this, and then it ended up being very easy for me. I just had a knack for it. And so it made me wonder, like, why didn't I do this 10 years ago? Who knows what I would have done? But you know what? I liked having that easy ride. I'm like, hey, just write the idea and send it off.
Yeah.
And then of course, over time I would write stuff, and even with a lot, the stuff with Granite and Funk, I'd be like, huh. I'm like, I don't really think I like the way that came out. I'm like, well, I don't really have a lot to say about it. You know, I need to be the one doing the mixing and the mastering. So, so I learned how to do that, properly, so that I could just start putting out my own music. And then I was a machine. I was just putting out music left and right because I was like, well, this is really easy.
Right.
But of course, nobody was listening to music.
Yeah.
Nobody, there was no live shows. I couldn't do a show. It was just like, really? And I did the 4 house tracks that I did, house music under Jack the Stripper, and you know, I think 2 of them were top 10, and the rest were all top 15. And I was like, this is perfect. I make these great house songs, and there's nowhere to play them. I'll never hear them in a club. It's just like I was like, go figure. You know, I guess that's what it had to be like that for me. I guess I can't really worry about it too much now. But I feel like I'm past all that, and I just want to put out a little bit more music, and of course, the cinema stuff is what I really focus on because that's where I really get paid.
Right.
I don't make any money, anything with all these things that I sent you. That's just my music therapy.
Right.
And maybe a pretty girl will like it. It's just like that. So, the cinema is where I make my money. So,
wait. A couple of questions. I kind of want to ask. Well, first of all, okay.
Ask what you want.
Do you have a girl in your life right now?
I do not.
Okay. Do you feel like you closed you turn the chapter, you close the book, whatever the term is, on making house music?
Well, I tend to say that a lot after I do something because I was so sick of it. I don't listen to it.
Really?
I don't even listen to house music now.
Shit.
At all. I mean, what I make for my buddy and the stuff that I make, but I couldn't tell you, anything that's going on with music, as far as house music and that stuff. I mean, I just saw Steve Lawler a couple of nights ago because Larry was opening up for him. So that was the first time I'd been to a club in 5 years, at least,
Wait, where?
Down here in Dallas.
You guys are, you're open, eh? 100%.
100%. Yeah.
How is that going? Is there mass deaths, people dying in the street?
No. Oh God, no. It's nothing like that. But Texas has kind of always been at the forefront of saying, hey, no, we're not going to do this. We're going to stay open. But we really followed the rules, and a large percentage of people really did the right thing for a long time, and it just people just got so burnt out, and then little by little places started opening up here and there, and then our governor just went gung-ho like last month and said we're open.
All the media was like, Texas just signed their own death warrant.
Well, our baseball stadium is the only one in America that's 100% capacity. So,
like the goers, the audience. It really, like, they're all going, and
it actually starts tomorrow. But we're the only team in the league.
They have 100% cardboard cutouts in the seats. All the cardboard cutouts are walking to the stadium. No,
they're expecting like 70 or 80,000 people tomorrow.
Wow, that's crazy.
It is.
And Florida's a lot like that, I think, right?
Yeah, Florida was a big middle finger too to what all this was going on.
I'd like to go to Florida or Texas right now.
I actually traveled like 4 or 5 times during the pandemic, and that was really a really unique experience.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Anxiety ridden.
First of all, so we don't dwell on the pandemic too much, you had mentioned that you were traveling a lot, and that's partially why we couldn't do this earlier. And I saw Instagram posts. You were very close here. You were in like Minnesota or something last time. Why were you traveling a bunch?
I was recently when I was up in Minnesota, I guess I was up there. It was my cousin's 50th birthday.
Okay.
So we surprised her for her 50th and flew up there. But I go up there. I've been going up there about twice a year for the past 3 or 4 years. It's just, I went up there in the summer when it was beautiful, and I went up there in the dead of winter when it was as cold as I think I've ever been. Yeah, maybe Toronto was about that cold one time when I went up there.
You don't. You just don't know. You need to come here in the winter. It's
It
worse
is
than.
it's a different kind of cold. Let me tell you.
My
Though
God.
about 6 weeks ago, we had a really really bad cold spell down here. It was
Yeah.
like history making.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Power outages. Did you get your power
yeah. My
cut?
sister
No.
did. My sister was without power and water for like 4 or 5 days.
Hmm.
But we were, I was lucky,
But everything's okay. No one's
Yeah.
hurt. That's good.
Nope. Very lucky.
So all
No
the
COVID, no
yeah,
snow trouble there.
no snowvid, no COVID.
Snowvid, yeah, Snowvid-19. That's what they were calling it.
So the other traveling, are you just that like that's all recreational? I was just asking like were you traveling for work doing music? Like I was very
No,
curious. Oh, okay, okay. You were
no, no,
just
no,
you just
no.
happened to be traveling around.
Yeah, I just, you know, Tucson. I go there 3 times a year. I've been going out there since 2007. Uh, my dear friend, probably the best friend I've ever had. He was a promoter out there way back in the day, and he booked me for some gigs, and then we ended up just being close friends. And then, you know, I go out there each March, July, and October. Uh, Him and his wife own a bar there. It's a whiskey and donut bar.
Nice. What's it called? Give it a shout out.
Batch,
Batch.
Batch in Tucson, and so they like to take trips. So they have me, come watch the dogs in the house while they go take their trip,
Right. You told me
and
about
then they come back and spend a week. We spend a week together.
that. Nice.
So I'm usually out there like 3 weeks at a time. This past trip was only 2 weeks, but I drink a case of beer a day for like 15 straight days. That's why we couldn't get together there. I blew off a vocal session while I was there, and it was the first time that I ever let somebody down musically like that. First time. It was, I always deliver, musically, and I just couldn't do it. I was just, we started drinking like at 8 o'clock in the morning. They have this bar that opens up there at like 6 o'clock in the morning. So probably shouldn't have done that. And I felt bad, and I lost out on a really great vocalist too by being an idiot. So it's my fault. So moving on.
Has your drinking gotten worse this year?
Nah, it's
Okay.
been it's been pretty bad
The whole time, yeah.
the whole time.
I still tell people about that story. When we were drinking at that bar, the whiskey, or no, tequila drink off with me and,
Oh God, yeah.
what's his name again? Oh, it's escaping me. The record label, the record store owner.
Yeah, Jason.
Jason, right?
Yeah, Jason Barreca.
Who was like 2.5 times my size,
Yeah,
and I drank him under the table.
yeah, yeah. He's completely sober now. So
Kudos to him.
yeah,
He has a brain.
yeah. Well, he's been sober like 16 months, I think.
Okay, well, that's
Yeah.
good.
I still see him, okay, a few
See,
times a month.
so you're not like hanging out. You guys aren't close.
Oh well,
Okay.
it's nice to have somebody to hang out with. I still hang out and make music with Jason from Disco Agents.
Right.
We've put out some music. We did a Depeche Mode cover we put out last summer, and we have a new project called Late Night Films, which we're about to drop a couple of songs.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a general manager at a restaurant, but he still wants to be involved in the music somehow.
He still wants to be a fucking rock star.
Yeah, we're all past that stage, so yeah, I guess that, yeah. And I know you were mentioning that you were having trouble
Yeah.
staying committed to the music game.
Yeah, I mean that's partially why I've been doing these chats. Um, and I just had a an interview that went live on. There's this guy from where's he from? Ireland? I don't know where he's from, and he moved to Saskatchewan, which is the province over. He moved here like 6 years ago, and he, coming from the UK where dance music was prevalent, right? He was like, "What the hell? Where the hell am I? I'm in Hicksville." And he's doing some cool stuff. He's doing this podcast with part of, he's talking to musicians, producers, and promoters and stuff from the prairies and trying to get the sense as to what's been going on here, or how the electronic music scene started. Anyways, wow, that I went on a tirade there. Anyways, I had this conversation with him the other day, and the podcast just went live. It was, I said the same things. Like, yes, I've been struggling with music. I've been, it's slipping away because I spent so much time doing it for so many years, pretty much ignoring life. Like, felt like I missed out on things. And did the whole, no money thing, because that's what music is. Yeah, it gets annoying, very annoying. But I've seen tremendous success in my life in other areas, which just pry time away from making music. And at some point, you're just like, this is abuse. I'm in an abusive relationship. Even though you love it to death, it's not providing you any positive return, anything. Like, it enables you to drink and be critical, and the scene and the people involved and everything. It's just like, makes you question everything.
I know, but it makes you feel cool.
I guess so, but I've never felt cool. That's the thing. I cannot, I can't for the life of me. I'm too much of a nerd to cool, so.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So I don't know. I want to make music, but it's just like, right now for me, it's come to a point where I have to make a choice. I either spend an hour doing this or I spend an hour doing that, so that hour is valuable to me. And if I spend an hour making music, what will I get from it, right? You know what I'm talking about.
I absolutely know what you're talking about. I do that all the time. I create something and I'm like, this is fucking dope. And then, the next day I'm like, does anybody care?
Shit. or that too,
or does anybody care?
Yeah, does anybody care? Should I finish this? Have you ever just deleted a project because you were kind of angry? Like, no one will ever hear this. What's the point? Fuck it. Delete this.
I've done that, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as much as I used to when I used to burn through ideas, because now I have a formula and I know what I'm doing. So if I start something, it's like there's a reason for me doing it. But I remember, back in the day, yeah, you'd work on something for a while and then, I guess for me, I never thought, that maybe the project wasn't any good. It was just that I would think, nobody cares. Like, why am I spending 7 hours on this? When the chances are I'm really not going to get any money from it. So I'm supposed to be doing it because I love doing it, but I really don't love doing it. I'm just doing it.
You don't love doing it?
Well, that's a strange thing that's a strange way to put it, but I don't know.
Is it like
I think
I like the result, not the process thing, or?
Yeah, to be honest with you, man, I'm just trying to be cool. I really am.
You're pretty fucking cool.
You get up there in age and everything, and you start separating yourself from that spot where, I wish I would have been like the way I am now musically 15 years ago, you know, and that wasn't my path. So you start getting further and further away from that. And, you know, yeah, I'm just trying to be cool at this because, again, I'm not involved with anybody. It's been, you know, I haven't had a serious relationship since, 2013 because my lifestyle just doesn't afford that. It's too hard for people, because, when you start getting, to my age, the people that you can meet at your age, they're usually, working, have their act together a little bit. And so they're probably wanting somebody that's the same. Or I ended up having to be with people that are damaged, so it's like a trade off. It's like, okay, she's a little damaged, my life's a little hard. And of course, those relationships never work.
We're all damaged. Everyone's
Yeah.
damaged, and
Oh, yeah.
everyone's life's hard in some
Yeah.
way.
I didn't think I'd ever be married or anything like that. But, again, you kind of look up and you're getting up there in age and stuff. And, again, this pandemic and everything shutting down, put me in my thoughts a lot because I was by myself a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, where do I go now? What do I do now? Do I just keep making, because literally I've only done this, for the last 18, 19 years.
Yeah.
Before that I was, manager at Target for 10 years. So, so almost 30 years of life there. I did two things, and I did a lot of fun things. I mean, I'm sure you're aware of this, and I met a lot of wonderful people such as yourself. And it afforded me a lot of, opportunities in my life that I would not have been able to do had I stayed in a regular 9 to 5 job, and now when I'm struggling with things that, other people, are probably taking care of themselves and their lives, I have to think, was it all worth it? Would I trade security now and give up, 6 or 7 years of the experiences that I had traveling around the world, seeing the ocean every single day when I lived in Key West and Miami, that stuff haunts you. I mean, that stuff haunts me to this day, I can't believe, I would just, go outside and get the paper and I'd see the ocean. It blew me away. I lived in a apartment the size of a matchbox, but I didn't care because, I saw the ocean and it was so wonderful. And again, had I not given up, working at that time, I would have never been able to do that stuff, because I'm not, I'm not wealthy. I wasn't ever going to be wealthy. I was, lower middle class, middle income growing up and all that stuff. So I never really had those kind of moments where I was going to get to travel. Like I saw you were in France. I saw it on your, right? You were right in France.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've never been there. So I wasn't going to be able to do those things, footing the bill on my own. So I was going to have to take a chance, and I did, and it paid off, I think. But, now I sit with myself and think, man, I really should have. I guess you said something earlier, and it really hit hard with me. It's just that, it's like other things in life went by, and I didn't get, my friends all got married, had kids, bought houses, and did all this stuff. And, while they were doing that, I was acting like a rock star somewhere. And then all of a sudden, you're the only one, you go visit your friends and you're the only one there that's not married or has a car, just stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, I really should have put some of this stuff together a little better. But my fear was that if I did that, I was going to sacrifice my musical creativity at some point,
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to do that. I just never wanted to sacrifice what I thought was what I was really good at to have it someday and just be like, work a regular job. Because then, what if I was at work and I had a music opportunity and I couldn't get to it?
Those are the fears.
Yeah.
you're hitting the nail on the head here for like what I was referring to. I felt that way much younger, right? In because there's a bit of an age gap between us. But I felt that way like when I was doing it. I felt that way when in the height of it, like when I had my passion and I would ignore the world. I wouldn't eat, I wouldn't sleep, I wouldn't go out do anything. I'd be just making music, and I was broke and living in my mom's basement. That's when we met. I was living in
Yeah.
my mom's basement. I was just a kid, but I felt that way the whole time. I felt like everyone's having a good time, everyone's doing stuff. I even I said fuck you to school and all kinds of opportunities and things to make music because I felt so passionate about it. So what you're describing is the similar, it
Yeah.
sounds the same. It may have happened a few years, later in your life, but that's what I mean. Like it's just some kind of virus, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
square.
And you have to have that. You have to have that passion, like you did, and like we did.
Hmm.
When you're especially if you're not wealthy and you have a team behind you and everything, it's going to be hard work, and some people really have to lay it all on the line and go for it.
Hmm.
That's what you did, and that's certainly what we did. And but again, yeah, it comes down to like, again, I know I keep bringing this up, but as I got into my late 40s, and then I finally turned 50, and then it was just kind of like, whoa, wait, I'm still making this silly cinematic bubblegum pop, really? I'm like, and it's like, okay, well, I guess it does make me look cool at times, but I know at some point it has to stop, and I think that that's what scares me the most is I don't know what to do after that. You know, I mean, I don't, I really don't know what to do besides what I'm doing as far as music related and things. And, I'm not going to go back to school or anything like that. So I'm really kind of stuck, doing what I'm doing and crossing my fingers that I hit a couple home runs, especially this year, so I can make up for that terrible last year. And then, maybe when that happens, I can, feel comfortable financially and be like, okay, you need to make a move here, like a real move, do something different, you know. So that's my hope right now. That's what I'm hoping happens.
You're painting a grim picture, John. What the hell? No, I jest. I mean, yeah, no, I'm glad that you're being honest, sharing these thoughts with me, and everyone watching, because I think that's important, right? This
Well, that's what
path.
you had said. That's what you mentioned. You were going to ask about life and music and
Yep.
what's next, and that's about as honest as I can be, really. You know,
Yeah. I mean, it's an it's an invite to be as honest as you want to be, and I'm actually very, thankful, very excited that you just shared that. But it's like, man, I feel like I could talk another hour on this topic with you. We've already cooked through an hour.
oh, okay. Well,
I miss you. I want to. I want to
it's
have a
good to see you.
Yeah, I want to have a drink drink with you if we're not quitting alcohol.
Yeah,
Man,
I will not be doing that.
you'll not be quitting alcohol.
Yeah, I will not be quitting
Well,
alcohol.
you know what? All right. And you're a principled individual. I like you, sir. Stick to your guns. Fuck.
Let's have another drink together before we're no longer on this earth.
Yeah.
That sounds like a plan.
Not to give the feeling that I'm, saying let's wrap it up, but I do think we should wrap it up. You were nice enough to
Sure.
spend an hour with me, but what are your what are your feelings for like where we are right now with everything with COVID, with the world? Like, I mean, do you have hope for things going back to normal? Do you, I don't know, maybe I'm not, maybe you already just told me the most important parts.
Well, I do have hope, and I do have hope, and I absolutely need it to, because
Yeah.
music's such a big part of my life.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to go see a show. It'd be nice to do a show.
Yeah.
And those things have been on hold for a while, and they're coming back, and I think I'm ready. And I'm happy that they are. So I do have hope, for that. So I will keep you posted.
I have so much more to say.
Well,
Let's
do
wrap
another
it
one.
here. Let's
Yeah,
do another one if you're open to it.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, this was.
And
Oh, sorry.
like maybe in the afternoon.
Sure. Yeah, this was late. It's just this is the way it worked out. Um, thank you so much for doing this.
No, thank you for having me. I had fun doing it.
Yeah, it's
Sorry I couldn't make it happen sooner, but
no, don't
it
apologize.
did.
I couldn't either. It's just it's hard to schedule things, and I'm not like putting in a solid effort to do these things, right? It's just like when it can happen. Above all, it's so great to see you and talk to you again.
Ditto. Ditto, buddy.
Miss you, man. Okay, let's talk again. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful night.
You as well. Later.
Okay, see ya.